If you do this to your coop this winter, it's gonna stay heated with no electricity all winter long for your chickens. And that leads us now to today. What we need to do for this coop to make sure it stays nice and warm while we're dealing here with snow falling and about 15 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures. As you can see, the chickens are out, they're roaming, they're all eating, both these flocks. But during the nighttime when it drops even colder, or after they're done eating and their bodies need some warming up to do, they need to get away from this. And they're probably gonna wanna hang out in there a little bit. So let me show you the one thing that you can put into this coop and do for it that's gonna warm it up. So some of you guys who followed along our channel before, you may have heard that we've used a thing called the deep litter method. And the deep litter method is a way that you can kind of clean your coop out a little differently than you're used to, which you guys might like. So let me explain how we're doing this. The first thing that you wanna do is just take out any of like the really big clumps of poop that are in your chicken coop. You don't have to get all of it, just some of the really big stuff that's in here. You don't need to focus on getting every single piece of poop out of this coop. You're really just focusing on the really big chunks of poop that are still in there. And then after that, we have a compost bin, and what we like to do is take all that poop that we're getting out of this coop, roll it over to our compost bin, dump it off, and over time, as it sits, it's going to compost more and more as we add other things in our bin, and that'll allow for great compost come garden season for us. After we've gotten all that out, there'll be leftovers in here, and what we're gonna do is, with any kind of thing, shovel, pitchfork, whatever you got, you're gonna want to stir up all the bedding. You're gonna want to evenly disperse all the leftover poop that's still inside the coop so that it's around every spot here in your coop, but not just all in one area. There's different things that you can use. A lot of people like using food grade DE. They also have a lot of these like poultry dust bath, dust kind of things for a chicken coop. We like to use this one right here. It has that permethrin in it, which I could be pronouncing wrong. But this, I sprinkle in right now over all the stuff that we just mixed around. And this just kind of helps freshen the coop and make sure that it doesn't get too bad for your chickens inside here. Although, the last thing that we're gonna do after this should help kind of cover it all. All right, the dusting is all. I've dusted the whole inside of it. Not only do I like to get the whole entire, like on the base of the coop where all the bedding is, but I also like to get their roost just to make sure that there's no little mites or other bugs in here. During the winter time, you don't have to worry about that as much, but it's good to keep a habit of it, and it just helps keep your chickens' feet nice and healthy. So the last thing that you need to do for the deep litter method is you need to get a bedding of your choice. This time I went with some finely chopped up straw, and we're just gonna put it right over the top now of all of that. Spread it, make sure it's nice and even. And what this allows is that all that poop that is sitting underneath this new bedding gets to warm up a little bit. The heat will rise inside the coop, and then that will actually warm the inside of your chicken coop without using any electricity this year, which is something that we are very thankful that we have the idea to do. And I know that a lot of people are gonna wonder if this is bad. Is this bad to keep poop in there? There's a lot of people who kind of disagree with this method, but we have always seen a great benefit from it, not only for the warmth of our chickens, but for the compost that it's going to bring come springtime. And as long as you're getting the really big poop chunks out each time, it really shouldn't be that bad inside there. And with just a few easy steps just like that, your coop, not only is it gonna be nice and clean now for the winter time, although you might think it's weird because there's poop underneath, but it is clean, they enjoy it, it heats them up. And like I said, with no electricity needed, no outlets out here, your chickens get to be warmer this winter because of this tip. And I think it's something that's important for every chicken owner to know during the winter time, especially if you deal with the white stuff, which is snow, like we do here in Michigan. So for our second coop that we have for the Splash Moran flock right here, so the main flock right there, that's the main coop we just did. These guys have a little different setup. We have the hoop coop set up for them, which you can see is all covered in the plastic wrap, which we've done videos on before and explained why we do this. This allows the sun to beam inside there. It warms it up for them during the winter time and gives them that place to go. And they, unlike them, they enjoy being inside this coop a little more often. And we do a little bit different bedding technique for them. We don't necessarily do the deep litter, but it's not as bad as a main coop. As you can see, let me get you guys in here. They basically have one main spot that all the poop goes. So I'm gonna get my pitchfork, I'm gonna scoop that big piece of poop, get it on out of here, and then all the rest of this little poop that's around here, I'm just gonna cover up with thicker straw, not like the thinly sliced one. This one is actually gonna be the nice thicker stuff because I like this hoop coop to be a little more insulated for them. All right, so now that that's all cleared out, we just need to get some more straw in here. It's already actually starting to go away from the little bit that we started this winter with. We'll undo this, spread it all around in there for them, and then that should be enough for their coop. Their coop is a lot easier to clean because it's a lot more open concept, and all the poop really collects just in that one major spot. All right, all the straw is now placed inside there, evenly dispersed out, and this coop is going to be definitely extra warm for them. Like I said, it's not as much the deep litter method because there's not as much poop that builds up in other areas around here. We could stir up that mound and put it around here and let it compost underneath. But for them, it really stinks, literally, and like the way that it works, like it would be a lot of spreading of just like this big pile of poop. So this allows them to have the warmth that they need. So if you have a more open concept coop at all, this works well for them, other than like using the deep litter method that we use for that main coop over there. Now heading to the third coop, our last flock, which is only 2 little Polish chickens. We have a rooster and a hen. They have the same kind of coop idea as our Splash Morans with the hoop coop, where they kind of just have this as their main area. So the main thing I want to do is just make sure straw is covering most of the ground in here, allowing them not to be walking in their poop, and 2, just give them a little extra warmth as well, which I'm sure they will enjoy. We have some of the leftover straw, those finely chopped up one that we used in the main coop. We're gonna throw that down for them, and this should heat them up a little bit more too. So right here is just something a little simple, no big thing. Just so they have straw covering in here. It should help warm up the ground a little bit for them, which in essence should warm up the inside a little bit more. Plus, they don't have to walk around in the poop that they're pooping all over the place in here. So this should be just enough for them. Now, we'll let them enjoy eating their snow that they're doing over there. And we have 3 new coops that now should be warmer and more comfortable for these chickens. So there is a lot of different tips out there of things that people say that you can do to keep animals warm during the winter time. Some of them I think are more like myths and beliefs. Some of them I think have a little bit of truth to them, and you're just gonna have to see what works best for you. The deep litter method definitely is something that's been nice for us. No, we don't ask our chickens like, hey, is it warmer inside your coop? But it does give us good compost come time when the spring comes. And if it does work and it keeps them a little bit warmer, that's an extra benefit as well. You just gotta make sure you're doing it safe and correct. Get the big pieces of poop out, make sure you stir it all up afterwards, make it nice and even. Put the new bedding on top. If you have a nice little dusting to put over the top of that, do that. It'll help keep your chickens a little extra safe. These pigs probably need a little bit more straw, so let me make sure that they get their straw for their huts. So just like us in the wintertime, where we need to try to maintain our own body heat and make sure that we have everything that we need to handle the cold temperatures, you're responsible for that aspect for your animals. And I think doing this for all of our coops allows them to stay warm. And one more time, just because I do like saying, you don't need a heat lamp, but I do know that everyone has their own preferences, and for some people they believe they need that for their chickens, and maybe in case of true emergencies you really do. But look how much chickens love just new straw. And bunnies. So if you need a way to heat your coop, no electricity, this winter time in a cold climate, I suggest trying out this deep litter method, see how you like it. We have really enjoyed it here ourselves. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and he will make straight your paths. Be not wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and turn away from evil. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. God bless you guys.